Hello and welcome to the recap of Verdict Watch Day 2 in the Karen Reed case. And to many of our surprises, we didn't get a verdict yesterday. They have now been in deliberation for 8 hours. I think most of us who has been watching this for the entire now 31 days are kind of baffled that they haven't reached a verdict yet because, in my opinion, with the two ARCA doctors saying there's no way that car hit that man, what, if anything, are you still discussing in there? But we had a few things happening yesterday. First of all, everyone started getting really antsy because there was a communication from the jury room to the judge. So we were all, oh my God, something is finally happening. They are looking for something. The first one was, could we please be done so I can catch the bus by 4? That's the first communication from the jury room. Someone needed to catch a bus at 4. So we knew they wouldn't be going long that day. Bev granted it. Fine. Everything's fine. Let's move on. And again, that's the worst part of being a crime tuber is if you're doing these verdict watches, you have to talk a lot about nothing. So we did that. Thank you so much, Valhalla, Mo, and Jamie, for being here with me doing that. But then there was another question. And that question to me was a little more interesting than can I catch the bus at 4 o'clock? Because they were asking to see the third team. Remember, that's the team that went out to Fairview 34 at roughly 5:45 is when that team is assembled. According to the testimony we had, they moved from the front door to the fire hydrant, shoveling the entire front lawn. One of the biggest problem in my opinion for the state is actually that report from the third team, because if they shoveled the entire front yard and only found 2 pieces of red plastic and 1 piece of clear plastic, how did the rest of the tail light show up weeks later when the snow melted? They were shoveling the entire front yard, shifting through all the snow. That's the testimony we had from the third team. They couldn't get the report because the report hadn't been entered as evidence. So you have to rely on the testimony from the guy testifying about how they did it. I hope someone in the room had good notes and will be able to argue that the third team didn't find anything, and that's highly unlikely that you find pieces of plastic this big weeks after they went through the front yard. Alone on that testimony, you should throw out the entire tail light story about it exploding and landing everywhere on the front lawn. That search was also the one where they put in the GPS coordinates, where the third guy said, we talked to Tully and he plugged in some of them. Tully was the one who did the report. And we didn't put in every piece of evidence on the GPS because it would just have been one big red blob, because all the evidence was right next to each other. And that GPS we used wasn't, it's a commercial use, so it's not that specific. I think he said it was 16 feet of inaccuracy on the GPS markers. We also know they found that one shoe. Remember, that shoe is highly critical to why Trooper Proctor believed this was a hit and run, because if you only have one shoe on, you must have been hit by a car. But at that time, he already took possession of Karen Reed's car without finding the second shoe, because there was a dead body with only one shoe on, which clearly stated this must have been a hit and run. In any normal situation, you would be laughing your behind off if a police officer said that a person with one shoe on must have been hit by a car. So again, Another timeline that doesn't match up, because why did you take the car before you found that second shoe? That shoe could have been anywhere. You don't know. He walked out of Karen's car with 2 shoes on. You could have knocked on the door and said, hey, is his shoe in here? But you didn't do that. You went to Karen Reed's parents' house and took possession of her car because she only had 1 shoe on. And in your extensive knowledge of high-speed collision, that means someone has been struck by a car. Why is this a case? I don't get it. But the jury was asking for that, didn't get it. I really, really hope someone in there has good notes and have a strong enough personality that they can convince the rest of them that search team search totally demolished all the evidence Trooper Proctor, Trooper Buchanek, Chief Berkovich found. It doesn't make sense. They claimed we went through the entire front yard. Why, oh, why didn't they find everything on that search? How did they find the hat later when they shoveled the entire front lawn? It doesn't make sense. But remember, at the scene with the search teams were 5 other officers. He could only name 2 of them, but he knew the rest of them must have been from Canton Police Department. Again, a lot of opportunity to taint the crime scene. I'm just saying it. I hope the jury is seeing it the same way. But the big banger yesterday was when Alan Jackson challenged the verdict form. He claims that the setup is the wrong way, but let's listen to it.
Back to session, you may be seated.
22117.
All right, so why are we out here?
Your Honor, I just saw the verdict forms, and as we discussed yesterday, the amendments the court indicated it would make them.
Oh, no. Okay, I did not say I'd make it. I said I'd think about it. I said I was tired and I needed to think about it.
Poor little Bev was too tired to do right in a case where a woman can lose her life. Well, she can't lose her life. It's not a DP case, but she could go away for life. And notice Karen's look right now.
Before you retired and you needed to think about it, was you agree that there needs to be not guilty options for the subordinate charges under count 2?
I said that it made sense to me, but no, I did not change it upon looking at it because the verdict slip, this verdict slip as submitted to the jury, is exactly how it always is in Massachusetts.
Can I ask you a question?
And that's another little Bevism, because that's a lie. We looked up the verdict forms. Normally, it's the way she did it. She took out the parts where it said, because this one, she showed them said not guilty, guilty in the first charge, second charge, third charge, fourth charge. Normally, it would have a note written saying, if you don't fill out any of the guilty things, it means that they are not guilty in those charges. Now it's just, let's say they want to find her not guilty in the first 2, but guilty in the third. How will you know that they found her not guilty in the first 2? It doesn't make sense what Bev was arguing. And funny enough, she came back a couple of hours later and changed the verdict form, called the jury back in, instructed them that, you have to understand this. But this part is what really made my blood pressure rise.
Okay, I disagree with you. All right, excuse me. This is funny, Ms. Reed. All right, we're done.
What in the ever-loving deepest pits of the hottest hill is Judge Bev doing? Excuse me, this is funny to you, Ms. Reed? No, this is a travesty because you as a judge haven't been doing your job. You had to come back and change the verdict form because you effed up. You should never have allowed this case to run. You had the FBI report clearly showing there is no way that car hit that man or that man was hit by any car, no matter if it's Karen Reed's, Brian Higgins, Lockheed Lofrens, or the space aliens. None of this lines up. You, madam, should be thrown out of your job. You should have never ever been on this case. You are so very highly biased, and now you tried to taint the jury by not giving them the correct verdict slip. You should never ever have been allowed to be a judge in this case. In any case, people of Massachusetts, you can vote her out the next time. Probably think about it. This could be you, where a judge looks at you when she clearly made a mistake and lied about her mistake. And she just looks at you and said, I'm sorry. Is this funny to you, Miss Reed? I hate Bev. I think she is so highly biased, and it's showing. But everyone, today will be Verdict Watch Day 3. We are back. The group is back together. We'll do all kinds of shenanigans and follow along. Hopefully today will be the day we get the verdict. We deserve a not guilty. Karen Reed deserves a not guilty, because no matter, even if she did it, there have been no evidence provided to us about it. And Bev, stay off the White Claw, allegedly.